So today we'll be taking topic async patterns. So yesterday, as I mentioned, we have three different patterns to handle the asynchronous nature of Node.js. So yesterday I had told you one keyword callback and explain some few things about it. So how callback works and how do we handle asynchronous operations in Node.js via callback. Okay, so there are three different patterns in which we can handle the asynchronous nature, that is callback, promises and async-await. So each one from callback to async-await is an upgraded version but works the same in syntax and in code, how you write the things. So that has changed, but working is almost similar. So first I have some code samples for four different types. So one code sample I'll be explaining is without any async pattern. Then another will be with callback. Then next one with promise and next one with async await. So you will be familiar with all of them. So now let's look at the first line, first thing, plain. Like I have named it plain, so it doesn't have any callback here in this one. So I have one function named print string. Okay, so whatever I am passing, basically I am printing that itself in console. Only difference what I made is yesterday we learned how set timeout works. Basically it waits for the specified amount of time which we specify in the set timeout here. So what I did, I created that number as random. So for when the print string function is called, this will be created automatically and it will be a random number. So basically by doing this, what I'm making is creating a three different types of function with the same function. So assume in real life application you have three different operation that might take time. So one is connecting to database, second is reading from database, and third is reading from a file system. If you have three different operations which you need to which are to be done synchronously, but will be done asynchronously by Node.js. So let's look at how this will work. So basically, when I am calling print string first time, this will calculate some random number, okay, and after that amount of time, it will print this again when this is called. So basically, Node knows that this function will definitely take some time because it has set timeout. So let's say if a random first time it's 4 seconds, second time it's 1 second, third time is it's 5 seconds. So what it will do, it will add all of the three functions to queue. So yesterday, if you remember in visualization, we had three things, like we had one box here, and one bottom box. So it will come to this box call stack. All the three function will come to call stack and it will be added to the queue, and once their individual timeouts are done, it will execute accordingly. So can anyone guess like what will be the order here of printing in the console? Like what will be the order when I run this code? Can anyone guess? Anyone, like even if you are wrong, it's okay, but at least you can try guessing. No one interested in answering. Even if it's wrong, it's okay. Just answer what you.
So maybe C will be implemented first, I guess. The math.
This is random. We don't know which function. These are considered
Hello,
these
sir.
different function, and we don't know the timings. That's why I have kept it random. Okay. So yes. Someone else was speaking.
Sir, Yes, sir. Sir, the order is not known to us because the timeout settings is depending on the random function. No,
Yes.
so it can be of any order only because if the random functions set out a timer greater for A, it will print at the last, and smaller for C, then the C will be printed first.
Yes. So you are correct here. So
Or
basically,
sir, maybe maths will be executed first.
yeah, like that will be definitely this. It will calculate this.
Because timeout is because timeout is dependent on this. So first this should be executed. I mean, should be
Yes,
printed.
and definitely instead of a number, like keeping it a static number, let's say 5,000 milliseconds, I have created a math number, random number. Okay. So IK, what's your name? Like from that, I couldn't get your name. So if you can tell.
Ishan, sir.
Vedant.
Ishan, Ishan. Okay. So you are right, Ishan. As we don't know how much time each function call will take. So how the visualization will be, this first function will be added to call stack, and node will see that it is taking some time. We don't know what time. It will add it to queue. Then again, the second function will be added to call stack. Then again, it will go to queue. Third will add it to call stack. It will go to queue. Okay. So based upon what timing the random function gives, it will resolve and go for execution in that order. So it can be anything. So let's try running this. So node plain node.js. So this time it's BAC. If I try running it again, it can be anything. ABC, this time it's ABC. Again, I'll try running. It's CBA. So every time it's different, and because every operation can take some or the other time, like we don't know. So similarly, when we connect to a database, when we read from database or when we read from file system, we don't know exact how much time it will take, but we want those things to be executed in order. First it should connect to database, then it should read from database, like that in order. So if a code tries to read from database before the connection is established, it will throw an error, right? So we need the things to be executed in order, and we need to handle the asynchronous nature. So it's sure that we need this to be printed in order A, B, C. So let's see how this is done in callback. Okay. So what I have done, so yeah, as yesterday I told you that for every function you can write a callback to handle its asynchronous nature. So I have named that function callback. Also, yeah, like you can write syntax like this, and then within these curly braces here, you can within these curly braces here you can add whatever functionality you want to do. Okay. So I have named that function callback, and then I call, like when this is done, I I tell this function that do this thing. Okay. So let's see here how I have written print all. So coming to print all function, I have called print string A. So it will create some, let's say, timeout of 4 seconds. It will go to queue. So how we have written print B is we have written print B in callback of print A. Okay. So this is basically, this print B will only be called when print A function is resolved or completed. Okay. Then again, when print B has some timeout, it will wait for operation to complete, and print C function will only be called when print B function is done. So this is basically callback of print string for B. This is callback of print string when we pass A. So basically for same function, we have this callback. Okay. So this callback is basically this thing. Okay. So the highlighted part is basically what we are passing to callback. So don't confuse, like even if you don't make, like actual functions won't be looking this way, because you just use this type of syntax. But just try to understand this thing. This is the callback. So the things in this is basically a function. If you have learned arrow function, this is basically a function. Even we can write this in this way, function. The function callback function can written in this way as well. This is old syntax, and this is ES6 syntax from when after ES6 standards. Okay, so this is a function. This function will be executed after printf. So this definitely this will be printing in order ABC. So let's run this code now. Callback.js. So as you can see in the output, everyone like, is it visible? It's in bottom. So it's ABC. It's in order because we have configured it like we have written it that way that other like the next print string function is only called when the previous one is resolved. Okay, everyone understood this, or any you have any doubts? So how we handle the asynchronous nature, or how do we chain the actions in a ordered way with using callback? So
Sir,
yes,
sir, you said that over here in the right hand side, it is written that error are being taken first. So
yes,
since in this program there was no error, if there was an error in this program, if we say, then the execution of will stop, or will it continue from BC?
it will stop because we have not done error handling. To do error handling, we have to pass here like error comma, let's say response. So in standard way, we always use error comma response, and then inside this function, we handle it this way. If we have error, do something. Okay, I'll write just do handle what you have to do when it's an error, and then else it will go and execute this thing. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
So when let's say in real life you are this function is trying to connect to a database, and there won't be any argument to connect to a database. So you will directly write a callback here. Then you will check if there is an error. If there is an error in connecting due to some connectivity issue or whatever, you don't have access to connecting to that database, then you will handle that error here. Else you will go and make a query to read from database that way.
Sir, so it's like if first we check if password is validated, and if that error is not there, then it continues to go to the database like that, right?
Yes. So basically, if this is our connecting to a database function, we will check if you are properly authenticated. Let's say that function has everything, how to connect. Okay. If that function throws an error, you should handle that you are not connected to database. Else, go and fetch some data from database that way. So basically,
Yes,
this
sir.
callback is to handle the error from this previous function, and also to like make execution in an ordered way. That first it should definitely connect to a database, and then only it can read from database. Otherwise, if we had done in this way, then it can, like, if connecting to database takes time, it will go and try to read from database, and it will throw an error, and application will crash. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So shall we move to promises then? Because we have less time, we have to cover it in one session.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So no doubts in callbacks, right? Like, obviously this is a new thing to you. Until and unless you actually do it yourself in some code, like, you will get more hands-on while you are doing it and doing it. So just try to understand how it works and how the syntax is. Okay. So now let's go to promise. So basically, I will just undo whatever I have done here. Okay. So currently just we have 3 operations that needs to be executed in order. So that won't be a case in real life applications. those are very big, and we have, let's say, 10 functions or 10 things to handle in a synchronous way. So this looks very ugly, right? And even it's very hard to understand when the nesting goes beyond, let's say, 10 or 20. So this will go on nesting, and it will create a slanting structure, and then it will be difficult to read code for a developer and even to handle things. Okay, so seeing that, promise came. So promise has a more cleaner syntax. So just look at here in docs. So I have written do some async things that will take time. So basically, earlier what we were doing in callback, when we call a function, we were making a callback function. In that we were writing operation. So basically how promise does is, we have a dot then and dot catch to handle that. So what is dot then? So promise has three states: pending state, resolved state, and rejected state. So it's similar to executing state, error state, or success state. Okay, so pending is executing, uh, resolved is basically success, and rejected is basically error state. So these are three states of promise. And how we write the syntax is using dot then and dot catch. So when we are calling a function, with that function, if we are adding a dot then, basically this will dot then inside whatever is inside dot then, basically what we write here is called when this function this function has succeeded. So in this case, like we were comparing to connection to database. So when let's say this is connecting to a database function, when this is succeeded, everything that needs to be done after that you will be writing in dot then. And if that is not succeeded, what to do will be written in dot catch. Okay, so did you guys understand the syntax? Let's go to the code, then you will understand it much better. So basically there is one thing that should be there in a function, that it should be a promise returning function. So basically what is promise returning function? So it will give us a hint that the function has been resolved or is it rejected. Okay, even it can return a pending state. So basically there are two end state, that is one is resolved, one is rejected. Okay, so if the function has succeeded, we will give resolved state. If it hasn't succeeded, we will give reject state. So to make a function promise returning, so basically this function was not promise returning, it was a plain function initially when we had written in a plain way. Okay, this was a simple function where we declare and we pass an argument and we do some operation. So we make that function promise returning by writing this in this way. So in a return statement, we are creating a new promise object. Basically this will return whether this function has resolved or rejected. Okay, so inside that promise we have same function what we have written here. So please note, we don't have any callback written here now. Okay, this is a complete different pattern to handle. So with the help of this, we have made that function promise returning, and inside that function we have written what needs to be done. And when let's say like set timeout was succeeded, we printed this thing. So we send a resolve, we write resolve this way. So what it does, it tells this that this has resolved, it returns that this function is resolved. And then when here we get the function is resolved, then everything inside dot then will be executed. Understood? Or it's going complicated, like you are not able to understand the syntax? I'm taking it step by step so that you guys understand. Okay, so there are two things I told here how to make a function promise
Sir,
return. Yes.
Sir, when we pass the parameter a,
Yes.
will there be any like time when there'll be like pending, when there'll be a pending thing?
Yes, because when we call this function and send a parameter to this, actually this function is called and it has set timeout inside that. So basically it will wait, right? It will take some
Uh,
time.
yes, sir. So will it return pending?
Yes, when you print this, like if you equate this to a variable, like you can do it as a, like it's a very good thing you asked. So if you equate this thing as a variable and try to print it in console, it will give you pending state. So when you try to print a promise returning function, it will show pending. You can try or you will come across such thing. So while this is executing, it will show pending. While this is done, it will show resolved. So like, did I interpret your question correctly, or you mean to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the pending is due to that that randomized
Because we have given
statement,
a
right,
delay
sir?
to that function basically.
Yes, sir. The set timeout due to the
Yes. So
random
we
number.
are resolving this operation, this complete function. We are resolving only when some amount of time has passed, whatever the random function will generate.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. So during this, like basically when this operation is under queue, if you remember the visualization on the right side, it will give a pending status. Promise will give pending status. And once that time is executed, what we do, we resolve it. So it will go, it will resolve, send a like basically it will return here resolved, and it will go in dot then. So if it like I cannot make a rejection here, but let's say if you are connecting to a database, you can reject basically if it not connected, and then it will go in dot catch like this. Okay, so we can have a dot, like instead of this dot then we can have a dot catch. So here we can have dot catch this way. Anything here, error handling basically. So whenever any of this operation fails, it will go to dot catch when reject is sent from this. Okay, so now what we have done, we are calling function first time with a parameter a. It goes to call stack. It sees that it take time, it goes to queue and waits until it's resolved. Then it go to dot then. Okay, and then again in dot then, basically instead of doing some other operation, we are again calling the same function here in this code, but actually you will be executing some other things. So just to make it presentable, so I'm calling the again the same function with a parameter b. Again this will take time, it will send resolve, and then it will go to dot, then it will call again c, and it will print c. Okay, and after that we don't have to do any operation, so we are not adding dot then. So if any of this operation fails, it will go to dot catch. So let's try running this code. We have last 10 minutes, so we are, I think we won't be able to complete in this session. Okay, so as you have seen, ABC, it has printed in order because we are calling those functions
Callback.
in a way, yeah, in a promise that print string with a parameter b will only be called when first one is resolved. Print c will only be called when this is resolved. So basically in callback we were going in a nesting way. Here we have dot then to traverse one by one. Okay, did you guys understand promises?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can I ask something about that dot catch?
Yes.
Sir, in this dot catch, does it only catches the error which are going to execute during runtime or logical as well?
Even whenever your function breaks here, it will go to this dot catch. So
Okay.
really logical errors are your problem. Like if you are adding 1 + 1 and you are writing something that it will give result 3. So basically for code, it is a success, right? The code is returning some value and it is success. So
Okay.
yeah, so how the code will handle that? It will handle all other errors. So if there is break
Oh,
this operation or that. So if you are returning
okay.
a resolve, if you are returning a resolve, it will consider that it has executed properly. So if instead of this console.log you are making some logic that returns 1 + 1 3, then it's your problem, right? After that, then
Okay.
it will return reject instead of returning resolve. So it will go to dot catch then.
Understood.
Yeah. So also we have like we this is basically nesting of promises. Like we are chaining of promises basically. We are chaining this one by one. So the first this, then again this. So in callback we call it nesting, and in promise this is basically called chaining. So we are chaining it one by one the actions with the help of dot then.
Sir, is there any method like we can avoid one of the dot then process, the chain? In the
Yes,
chain,
if I don't want to
it
execute the print C, then I'll just remove this dot then. It will just print A and B.
is no, sir. Suppose I'm printing A and then I give some condition. Okay, you can do that with conditional statements. Can we use conditional statements, sir?
Like give me example here, like what what you want to do.
Sir, suppose I'm printing string A
Okay.
and then if it's resolved,
Okay.
uh, and then if it's resolved, it'll print string B. If it's not resolved, I wanted to print string C.
Okay. So you mean to say that you don't want to break the chain, you just want to go skip and go to this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, we can do that. So like you can try that thing. I don't have exact we are short of time and I can't explain you. Maybe I can explain you personally, or you guys can take it as a homework. You can come up with solution, then we can discuss. If it is like
Okay, sir.
you can search if it is possible or not. You can try executing it and you can come up with find your findings tomorrow and tell me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So like I have this again two sample functions. This is basically without promise. So why I'm saying this without promise, even if I have created a promise object, but I am not returning anything or resolving anything. And this statement is outside of this promise, right? So basically
Yes, sir.
when I execute this code, it will print second command first and then first command. So let's execute this code. Node. So as you can see, second command has printed first and then first command, because that's not handled in a synchronous way. It's working asynchronously. So how we can make this thing in a promise and make code print first command first and second command second. So it's the same syntax, just we have added a dot then to it, and then we have added what we need to be done after this is resolved. Okay, so I'll share this code with you. You can analyze it yourself. You can try different types of code using promises and callbacks. Okay, I'll share a zip of all these sample codes with you. So
Okay,
when
sir.
I run this, it will first console first command, as you can see here, first command and then second command, because we have added the console statement for second command in dot then. So when this resolved, it will go to dot then. So basically here we are not we have not added return here, because this is not a function. We are just equating it to some variable, right? So we are making it under promise. So when we create a function, we add a return statement before this, as we did here. So even I have one sample code for chain of promises. Okay, so this is our first promise. Then when this is resolved, go to dot then again go to dot then. When this operation is done, go to dot then again return some new promise, do some set timeout and third command, then again go to dot then dot catch to catch error, then again dot then again dot then. So this, even the chaining, what community has thought, even the chaining goes long and long, and when the chaining is very long in real life application, it gets difficult to handle them and understand the what we have, what in or with what order we are executing basically. So I won't be taking this file. Okay, you can analyze this file. If you don't understand anything in this file, you can ask me on Discord channel. So there is some message in chat, let me check. Last 1 minute. Okay, so guys, can we skip break today and start immediately? Just one topic I have to cover, and let's not waste time. Is it okay? Like, it won't take much of your time, just 10 to 15 minutes more.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So I'll just give you brief what Async-Await is. So as I have mentioned, like even chaining can be a painful task for developers. Okay, let's see the Async-Await code. So does this look very clean approach? Like first it will execute line 1, then line 2, then line 3. The conventional way how we visualize things in code, right? It's pretty clean than callbacks and promises. So you have to add a keyword await. So it will wait for this function to resolve. Then after that is done, it will go to this function, then again wait, then this function, then again wait. So async and await is the latest thing that has been come up, and it's used nowadays in place of promises and callbacks. Like let's see the async await syntax. So basically our function is, let's say, do async things. I'll make it bigger. Okay, so our basically if our function do async things takes time, we add a await keyword in front of that to make code wait for this task to complete, and then only hello will be executed. Okay, so basically this is again a function written in ES6 format, and there is one thing necessary to write await in a function is you should add a async keyword before writing a function. So basically this is a function written in ES6 format, this part, and we have added async there. Okay, so if it's not in ES6 format, then it will look like async function and then like this. So it's necessary that you make that function async before using await, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, so let's look at some code of how async await works. Okay, so again I have a function same that returns a promise. So our must thing to add await to a function is it should be a promise returning function. It is must. As I have mentioned here as well, it is must that this function should return a promise. So in this code I have written it this way, that the print string function returns a promise. Okay, So now what will happen when I call print all function? Also see that I have added async here to use await. So let's see how it will execute. So when I call print all function, it will go to this line, it will call print string, it will see that it is taking time, but we have added await. So it will wait for this action to be resolved, here. Then it will go to this line, it will call again this function, it will wait for resolve, and then again for C. So basically when we run this code, it will execute in proper order ABC. So let's try. As you can see in output, it has given us in order ABC as we have written. So basically Async-Await is the best thing to use now because it takes us away from the nesting thing. It looks very dirty. Then again the chaining thing here, if we have many things that needs to be done synchronously or in order, then chaining goes and goes, and even it's difficult to understand code sometimes. So this is the best thing we have been like such type of execution we have been seeing it all the time, that first line one will execute, then second line will execute, and then third. So basically Async-Await, it's very clean to write and also easy to understand. Internally what it is doing, basically whatever you are writing after await, basically it's in the callback or in dot then of this function. Maybe internally it is like that, okay, then only it's executing. So whatever is below this line, it is actually inside a callback or a dot then of this function. Okay, so but what how we write and what we are seeing is the code is executed line by line. Okay, so did you guys understand the async await syntax and what are the requirements to use async and await? Any doubt in async await?
So can you
No, sir.
repeat the whole process once more? I didn't get it actually.
Okay, so there are two things must for using an await. Okay, one, the function you are using await on, basically we are using await on this function, so it should be a promise returning function. This is the first thing. Second, the function in which you are using await should be an async function. Okay, you should add async to that function as a prefix. Then how the code will execute? It executes the same way it has been executing in promises or in callbacks. When we execute print all, it will go to call stack that we have to run print all. Then inside print all, we have to run print string with a parameter a. It will go here. It sees that it takes time, but we have added await to it. It will wait until this thing is resolved. The same this thing is working the same as it was in callback or in promise. So this is resolved, and then after this is resolved, it will go to next line, again call that function, wait for that to resolve. So this way it executes. So basically giving an like comparing it with the example of connection to a DB, this can be a connection to a DB, wait until that is connected, and then wait, and then again read from DB or insert into DB. So one thing here is you must be wondering how then we handle the errors. So what if this operation failed, right? So currently we are returning resolve only, so it will go to next line. What if we return reject here? So basically that is handled with try catch blocks. Okay, so we write try, and then we have catch. Okay, and we put all the await inside try catch block. Okay, so if you are not putting await inside try catch block, node will itself give you an error that you have unhandled promise rejections. Okay, so basically initially when we didn't have try catch block here, unhandled promise rejection is what if we send reject here instead of resolve. So we have nothing that needs to be executed, or where should we go when you send reject here. So that is unhandled promise rejection. So that is being managed using try catch block. Okay. So here you will have basically this catch block is same as dot catch block we use in promise. So whenever any of this fails, you can it will go to catch block. Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah. So did you guys understand all the three things, like at least some or the other thing, like callback, promise, and async-await, and how we make asynchronous code which we executed when we started to a synchronous code to be executed in order? How we make it in callback, promise, and async-await?
Sir, one small like after suppose we get an error, right? It'll go to the next block, right? That is the block after catch error.
Yes, it will come to this block.
Okay, sir. So at any point through the execution through the chain, if we get an error, it'll go to the
Yes, yes,
next block.
yes. So if you want to handle them individually, then you have to put them in individual blocks. So this should come after catch then. If you want to individually handle this, but we in real life applications also we handle it combinedly, because most of the things which we put in same function are interdependent. Okay. So we handle it
Okay, sir. Okay.
combinedly in real life. So it depends on your use case, what you want to do.
Yes, sir. Situation based.
Yeah, it depends on situation to situation what you want to do. You can handle them individually, you can handle them combinedly. So let's see what happens when we reject. Okay. So I guess this code should work when I send reject here. Let's see if it works. Okay. So basically, before sending a reject, I have printed
Yes, sir.
A. Okay. So basically, by sending reject, what I made this function to fail by sending reject. Okay. Forcefully, and then it immediately went to catch block and it skipped other two calls. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any more doubts? Shall we end then, if you guys have no doubts? Okay, one more thing I have a sample code, again one more for async, how we use await. So I have one function double after 2 seconds where I send a parameter, and then in set timeout I like that number is doubled. So basically in A what we will get 20. Okay. So that way it goes on doubling. So I have made this function in set timeout to make it wait 2 seconds, and in resolve I am sending something. So basically when we send some value or something in resolve, you can assign it to a variable or constant using equal to. Okay. So let's see
Sir,
what. Yes.
the return new promise resolve. Can you explain that line, sir?
Yes, so here basically we are making this function a promise returning function. So with new promise, this is called a constructor. We are creating a promise, and with the help of return, we are basically making it return a promise. So here I have just added one parameter resolve. You can have two parameters here, resolve, reject. If you want to use reject in your code, that you are not sure that my code will break somewhere, then you can use reject instead, as I have shown in the previous example. Okay. So always the first one is resolve, second one is reject. So
Okay, sir. Okay.
you guys understand this code yourself, so that you are more clear with the things how it. Try on pen and paper, take pen and paper and try debugging this code or executing line by line. So when I'm calling add async function, okay, I'm calling this function, then the next line is I'm passing this 10, then it will go here, then it will wait for 2 seconds, it will return 20. So try doing step by step how the code will execute, so you will understand it much better. Okay, so like benefits of making some things synchronous from asynchronous is, I have one more thing. Let's say I'm getting a weather from your IP address. Okay, so I have two functions, to get weather and to get location. So in get location, I'm using an external service ipinfo.io to get your IP location, and with get weather, for that location I'm getting weather from open weather APIs. Okay, so just don't go the like whatever terminologies I am using, just try to understand the sequence. Okay, so when I'm calling basically get location, I want get weather function to be executed only after I get my location. Basically, when I'm using external service, it will take some time to go to internet. Who muted me mistakenly? Okay, so by you are going to a external service on internet, you are from that IP you are finding a location and you will get a response. So basically it will take some time. Okay, so this is real life example where operations take time. When you are connecting to actual internet, okay, then after I get my location, get weather function should be called. So how I have handled that, I have written get, I have called get location in dot, then I have called get weather, and get weather will return me whatever I am returning in get weather. Basically, I am returning it's, this is the temperature, and in this is the location. Okay, so just ignore the body and all variables. Just understand. Okay, and in catch, if it breaks somewhere, if I am not able to find the location or if I am not able to find the weather, it will go to dot catch. Okay, so let's
Sir, will you be sharing the weather.js or is it like a project for us?
maybe you can take it as a project, but for that I need you guys to, like, I need to explain you guys this request and how to make a request to actual internet and then get a response. So let's not take it as a, we can take in next so after next. So
Okay, sir.
okay, so
Okay, sir.
yes, what you
I
will,
think we should 10:30.
yeah, okay, like if anyone has doubts we can take, or else we can end.
Okay.
Anyone has any doubts?
Sir, in the double that there's a double thing, right? That double program, double after 2 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
Show that program 1 second, sir. Yes, sir. In that resolve x cross 2.
Yes, so basically
Resolve x cross 2. It will multiply 10 into 2.
yes, and it will send as a return of this function, and it will be assigned to A. So when console.log A will be seen, it will be 20. So let's see.
Yes, sir. That the comma 2000 is the amount of time you're waiting for, right?
Yes, yes, the set timeout has syntax that way. So basically, I am
Yes, sir.
making the code wait because I cannot make actual operations and I cannot demonstrate you. So
Okay, sir.
you can see here, I got the responses 20, 40, 60 doubling every time, but I've also got an message saying unhandled promise rejections. Okay, so basically I have to add this inside a try catch block.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then let's end it here. If you guys have any doubts, You can ask on Discord channel to your mentors, or you can ask directly to me. Also, try exploring callbacks, promises, and Async-Await yourself. Try writing some codes, because at the end it's you and how much you are interested in doing this. Okay. So before you are out of sync with this concept, try taking hands-on on this concept by trying some examples yourself. Googling on Google, you can get plenty of examples. Okay, so you can try those. Okay, then let's end now. Bye bye, guys.
Sir,
Yes.
okay, last thing, sir. Last thing. So when we run the thing, did console.log some? Was it shown on the screen?
Yes. This code.
Okay.
So basically, we have error for this function, because the delay
Yes,
function
sir.
is an inbuilt JavaScript function that needs to handle the rejection. Also, we need to handle rejection. These are our custom functions. So they gave an output without even handling, because we don't have any reject written in this function. Okay, so it knows that it won't ever be rejected. So for these three functions, it didn't give error. This function gave error because internally JavaScript function has reject in this delay. So this line is giving us error basically. So when we
Okay, sir.
add
So that is why some did not come, right?
yes, so when we add this in try catch block,
In catch, we have to put that sum equal to x plus a plus b plus c, right?
no, in catch you will print just error, or you will,
Okay. Print error. Okay.
why you will print that in catch. So now let's
Yes,
try
sir. Yes,
running.
sorry,
I
sir.
guess now code will run properly because we have handled the rejection. 20, then we have 40, we have 60. Okay, delay is not defined. I guess we have to make a delay function. So I'll just refactor this code and send you to analyze more. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Cool.